Once again, if you are a graduate who happens to be in the stadium, you should not be here. If you are a graduate, please report to the baseball field to the west of the stadium. Again, all graduates report to the baseball field to the west of the stadium. And if you are a banner bearer, please check in at the baseball field. Your graduate is about to be a member of the Alumni Association. No sign-up is necessary. This is free to all alumni. Please turn to page 37 in your program to have your graduate read about the CSUMB Alumni Association. This is a great way to stay involved, network, and remain connected to their university. The class of 2022 has committed to giving back to future students through scholarships for their senior class gift. Help them reach their goal of $5,000. Please turn to page 37 to find out details and ways to give. Don't miss out. And finally, keep your smartphone handy and share your commencement experience on social media. Tag your photos with hashtag CSUMBgrad. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a final reminder that if you are a graduate who happens to be in the stadium, you do not belong here. If you are a graduate, please report to the baseball field to the west of the stadium. Again, all graduates, please report to the baseball field to the west of the stadium. And if you are a banner bearer, please check in at the baseball field. Your graduate is about to be a member of the Alumni Association. No sign-up is necessary, and this is free to all alumni. Please turn to page 37 in your program to have your graduate read about the CSUMB Alumni Association. This is a great way to stay involved, network, and remain connected to their university. The class of 2022 has committed to giving back to future students through scholarships for their senior class gift. Help them reach their goal of $5,000. Please turn to page 37 to find out details and ways to give. Don't miss out. Please move in toward the center and fill up single and unoccupied seats. We are expecting thousands of people today, and we want to make sure there's room for everyone. Umbrellas, balloons, glitter, rice, and confetti are not permitted in the stadium. No chewing gum or tobacco is allowed in the stadium, and if you have not already disposed of these items, please dispose of them in the proper waste receptacle. Please watch the curb when stepping up or stepping down on the bleachers. And please keep this in mind when leaving the stadium following the ceremony. For your enjoyment, there are refreshments, snacks, flowers, and alumni merchandise being offered for sale at the west end of the stadium, as well as the meet and greet area in front of the field house. Restrooms are also located at the west end of the stadium and in the meet and greet area in front of the field house. And finally, keep your smartphone handy and share your commencement experience on social media. Tag your photos with hashtag CSUMBgrad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to California State University, Monterey Bay's 26th annual commencement. We are delighted to have all of you on campus. We greatly appreciate your participation. All of us at CSU Monterey Bay share your pride in the accomplishments of the graduates whom we celebrate today. To ensure this is a great day for the graduates, we ask that you now please clear the aisles, take your seats, and listen to a few more announcements before the ceremony begins. We have arranged for a team of professional photographers to take pictures of each participant crossing the stage. The graduates will receive proofs and may choose to purchase photos, so let your graduates know if you want copies for your own memory books. You are, of course, welcome to take pictures, but please do not approach the stage during the ceremony. There will be plenty of time after the ceremony for picture taking. Also, on behalf of all the people here today, we kindly request that you not stand in the aisles and block the view of others. Umbrellas, balloons, glitter, rice, and confetti are not permitted in the stadium. If you have signs or posters, please hold them up only briefly to cheer your favorite grad, and then lower them so you don't block the view of those around you. Please watch the curbs when stepping up or stepping down the bleachers. All stairways must remain clear at all times. If you are standing on white paint or between rows of white chairs and are not moving right now, you are violating this rule. Please don't stand on the track or field, and do not walk up to the commencement platform at any time during the ceremony. The pitch is closed to all foot traffic. Please do not approach the pitch. Please remain in the stands. The gravel area in front of the field house is designated as a safe dispersal area. In case of an emergency, please remain in your seats until directed to head to the safe dispersal area. Please do not stand or sit in these areas except in the case of an emergency. If you have been saving seats and your guests have not arrived, please give them up now so other guests can sit there. At the end of the ceremony, the faculty and graduates will leave the stage area and walk toward the west end of the stadium. Please allow them to exit the staging area completely before wishing them congratulations. Once the ceremony is over, you may exit from the middle and both ends of the bleacher sections. Please do not leave your seat until the ceremony is over and the event staff indicates that it is time to exit. Thank you all once more for being here to celebrate California State University, Monterey Bay's 26th annual commencement. The ceremony will begin in just a few minutes. Welcome the graduating class of 2022. Now entering the stadium, the College of Science. Also entering the stadium, biology. And soil sciences. And now entering the stadium, environmental science, technology, and policy. Communication design. And now entering the stadium, the College of Education. entering the stadium, Human Development and Family Science. And now, welcome Liberal Studies. And now entering the stadium, mathematics and statistics. And now please welcome Master of Science in School Psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the faculty of California State University, Monterey Bay.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Sam Robinson, Chair of the Academic Senate here at California State University, Monterey Bay. As University Marshal, I'm pleased to declare this 26th annual commencement is now in session, and I welcome you to this special occasion. Congratulations, you did it. In recognition of the diversity of our community and audience, we would like to extend this welcome in other languages.
Good morning, this is in English. In Spanish, bienvenidos. In Arabic, ahlan wa sahlan, tahfaf al-jama, bi California State University, Monterey Bay, bi tarij ou tallabiha. In French, bienvenue à la cérémonie des remises des diplômes Université de California State, Monterey Bay. Buenas tardes, les doy la bienvenida a esta ceremonia anual de graduación en la Universidad Estatal de California en la Bahía de Monterey.
Please stand for the national anthem. The national anthem will be sung by Mr. Eduardo Lopez, who is a biology student.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Eduardo. So I regret to inform you all that President Ochoa tested positive for COVID last night and will be unable to attend or lead today's ceremony. He's delegated his authority to CSUMB Provost Catherine Contargeth, who will instead lead today's commencement ceremony. Please welcome Provost Contargeth to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. I'm Catherine Contargeth, Provost and Vice President of California State University, Monterey Bay, and I join Dr. Robinson in welcoming you here today. In addition to our graduates and their families, we also welcome many distinguished guests and members of our university community, and we are deeply grateful for your participation. We have a CSUMB land acknowledgement, which I would like to read. California State University, Monterey Bay resides on the indigenous homeland of the Esselen people, also known as Carmelino, Monterey Band, and Rumsen. It is on the rich homeland of the Esselen where CSU Monterey Bay not only thrives as an institution of higher education, but also provides an education abundant with service and experience to a diverse community of learners. As our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members explore our university campus, please remember to respect the land and take note of its natural beauty. Remember that ancestors rest below pathways and in other less traveled areas on our campus. We are here. Let Ka Lai. I will now introduce those members of the platform party who will not be introduced later, and I will ask them to stand as I present them. Dr. John Freire, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs. Ms. Barbara Zappas, Vice President for University Advancement. Dr. Glenn Nelson, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Ms. Natalie King, Associate Vice President for University Personnel. Dr. Chip Leno, Chief Information Officer. Dr. Doug Smith, Interim Dean of Graduate Studies and Research. Mr. John Binkley, Dean of Extended Education. Dr. Dale Grubb, Associate Vice President for Academic Planning and Institutional Effectiveness. Ms. Jacqueline Grallo, Interim Dean of the Library. Dr. Thomas Horvath, Associate Dean, College of Science, and today's Marshal for the Platform Party. Dr. Leslie Williams, Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. And Mr. David Ledesma, 22-23 President of Associated Students. You may be seated. We thank our faculty members for their sincere commitment to helping our students achieve the successes that we celebrate today. Faculty, would you please stand so that we can thank you and recognize you? You may be seated. I would like now to acknowledge the family members of the graduates who are joining us today. This is your day, too. We applaud the commitment that our families make to their students, to our graduates. Family members, please stand if you are able to, or wave to be recognized. You may be seated. Thank you. I want to welcome all of you to this special day in the life of our university. Commencement represents a great milestone, the culmination of years of hopes and big dreams. You made it. Congratulations. It is often said that the best measurement of the quality of a university is the quality of its graduates. And as I look out on all of you today, it looks like CSU Monterey Bay's reputation is in excellent hands. Our campus, like most campuses, has a tagline that we use in our announcements and marketing materials. Ours is extraordinary opportunity. The dictionary defines opportunity as a set of circumstances that make it possible to do something. At CSU Monterey Bay, we work to make it possible for all of our students, many of whom are the first in their family to attend college, to achieve higher education. Those of you who will receive your degrees today walked through the doors that were open to you. You did not miss your opportunity. You put in the hours, you completed the assignments, you went to the study sessions, you figured out what you needed to do, and you did it. Congratulations. This weekend, we are celebrating the accomplishments of a record number of graduates. This weekend, for Monterey Bay, we will have 2,345 candidates for graduation at the three ceremonies we are holding this weekend. 255 of our graduates took part in our early outreach and support programs, which are designed to help first-generation and migrant students, as well as foster youth. As a university housed on the site of the former Fort Ord, CSU Monterey Bay believes strongly in its responsibility to provide opportunities to our nation's veterans. We have a total of 21 degree candidates who are veterans at our three ceremonies, and 10 are graduating with honors. Will our graduates who are veterans please rise so that we may salute your service to our country? Thank you. Our graduates come from 25 states and from 35 countries. I love it when we compete with planes. Those who come the farthest is our graduate from Kenya and 3 graduates from Malaysia. And whether they come from Marina or Malaysia, each of our students has his or her own unique story of accomplishment. And I would like to highlight just a few of them. And if you are here, I'd like you to stand when I call your name. Gretchen Wickman. Gretchen is an environmental science graduate with a concentration in watershed systems. She quickly became a valued researcher and mentor in the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center Scholar Program and through her environmental science classes. She started as an undergraduate researcher her freshman year, and she has worked on 5 separate research projects over the last 4 years. And she has coached many of her peers on how to plan, execute, and present the findings of their research. Gretchen has been accepted into the Master of Science Geoscience program at Southern Cross University, Lismore in New South Wales, Australia. Her career goal is to become a researcher for an NSW government agency like the Soil Conservation Service or the Department of Planning and the Environment. Gretchen, congratulations. Stephanie Hernandez. Stephanie started her academic journey at Hartnell College and then transferred to CSU Monterey Bay and graduated with her BA in Liberal Studies in 2020. Today, she will be earning her credential through the College of Education Multi-Subject Credential Program. Upon entering CSUMB in 2019, Stephanie was contacted and granted admission to Tau Sigma, which recognizes academic excellence of transfer students. Her time as a service learner, combined with her academic experience, has been accomplished while upholding the highest of academic standards. Stephanie has already obtained employment at an elementary school district and will use her knowledge to make change for the better. Stephanie, congratulations. Sophia Torres. There she is. Sophia knew she wanted to attend CSUMB when she was just 15 years old. During her time at CSU Monterey Bay, Sophia has become a determined, thoughtful, and pragmatic student athlete. She became captain of the CSUMB volleyball team, president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and she has had many roles around campus that have allowed her to support students academically and make a difference by contributing to student success. As a team captain, Sophia maintained the highest level of integrity, work ethic, and character and led her teammates both on and off the court. Today, she graduates with her degree in statistics and plans to take what CSUMB has taught her and give back to the community. Sophia, best wishes to you on your success. Jesse Rodriguez. Jesse served for the U.S. Navy for 5 years. He served 2 combat deployments aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln as an aviation ordnanceman in direct support of OEF and New Dawn. He began his studies at Ventura College, earning an AA in natural sciences while helping to provide veterans, active duty members, and military families pursuing degrees and certifications with a safe and supportive environment. Jesse then transferred to CSU Monterey Bay, and today he is earning his degree cum laude with distinction in environmental science, technology, and policy, and he will continue to provide support as an environmental volunteer for the California State Parks. Jesse, congratulations. Carla Montano Acosta. Carla is a Human Development and Family Science graduate. She is also the recipient of the College of Education Dean's Medalist, which is awarded to a student that has made significant contributions to students or the university, shown leadership, and been a positive agent for innovation and action. Carla came to the United States when she was 7 years old with limited English language skills. She started at CSUMB as a member of the College Assistant Migrant Program for students from migrant and seasonal farm worker backgrounds. She worked as an academic intern with the Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness in Undergraduate programs, which supports first-generation and low-income students in pursuing higher education. Carla intends to pursue a master's degree in school counseling to advocate for students and increase their learning and achievement. Carla, best wishes to you. And congratulations again to all of our class of 2022 graduates. And now, please welcome Dr. Brian Corpaning, Associate Vice President for Inclusive Excellence and our Chief Diversity Officer, to the podium to present the honorary degree.
Thank you, Provost Kontarjev. Today is a great day. It's a great day for you graduates and your families. It's a great day for this university, our faculty, and our staff. And And I'm going to admit that it's a great day for me because in addition to celebrating all of you graduates, California State University at Monterey Bay and the California State University Board of Trustees are conferring an honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters, upon Helen Rucker, my dear friend, my role model, and my shero. Yes. Helen Rucker, a retired teacher and librarian and longtime community activist on the Monterey Peninsula, has dedicated her career and life to civil rights and community engagement. Sister Rucker remains active in the Seaside community, previously serving as a city council member and a board member of the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District. She also volunteers with numerous other community groups and organizations that sought to address issues important to her: prison education, HIV/AIDS prevention, Black entrepreneurship, mental health services, tax assistance, and meal delivery for seniors, police reform, low-income housing, voter education and registration, and civil rights. Yes, she has done a lot. In 2015, California State Assembly member Mark Stone honored her lifetime of service, naming her Woman of the Year for the 29th District. Voting right is a cause Helen Rucker has advocated for over the years. She started her activism by holding voter registration information sessions in Louisiana first and then in California. She is the founder of the Seaside's Voter Education Center, an organization dedicated to inspiring young people, especially of color, to vote. In 2017, Helen Rucker was awarded the Monterey County branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Peoples Medgar Evers Freedom Legacy Award for her work on behalf of civil rights and civic engagement. In each of the last 5 national elections, as well as over 10 local, county, and state elections, Helen Rucker ensured the community had access to educational materials and forums in which to discuss and debate pertinent issues. In 2019, Mrs. Rucker received the Community Woman of Distinction from the Women's Leadership Council at CSUMB. This award was created to honor a tri-county area woman who represents the mission and goals of the Women's Leadership Council, demonstrates support to CSUMB, and serves as a model to students, and demonstrates a commitment to community service. Helen has been a donor to CSU every year since 1999. She's one of CSU's most loyal and consistent donors. Helen Rucker is a shining example to you graduates, to all of us, that you can truly make a difference through the power of your commitment to change. Helen Rucker has done exactly that. So, you know, I've been in higher education 30-some years, and this is the proudest moment in my entire career. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Helen Rucker, Doctor of Letters.
They told me I had to say something, so please believe me, I'm so excited that it's hard for me to say anything. But I do want to thank all of the staff and faculty, as well as Dr. Ochoa, for this marvelous honorarium that he has bestowed on me today. I dreamed of getting a PhD. And I did come to California to enroll at UC Berkeley, and I was going to do that, but I found a marvelous man. And he was stationed here at Fort Ord. So this is how I got here 50 years ago. This is how I came to this area. I have worked hard with the young people at Monterey Peninsula Unified School District, and I worked hard with the staff of Cal State University Monterey Bay, because when I came here, we had to go all the way up to UC Santa Cruz in order to take courses and what have you. It has been marvelous living in this community with the institution that we have here. And I want you young people, please, when you leave this institution today, that you make sure that you understand that you have some obligations. We are in a critical time in our lives, in our democracy. And I want you to pledge to me today, just do it silently, pledge that you're going to do your best for us to maintain our democratic institutions that we've worked so hard to try to bring forward. So please, I know that you have been instructed on how to work in our democratic society. So please honor me by making sure that we maintain particularly our voting rights. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Helen, for those inspiring remarks. And now, I would like to welcome to the podium your alumni representative, Mr. Patterson Emesibe.
Tall people problems. I hear you. Thank you, Provost Kantarjev. Can we get snaps for Provost Kantarjev? Snaps, snaps. All right. Graduates. Graduates. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I extend to you this significant accomplishment. On three, let's all say we made it. 1, 2, 3. That's right. First of all, I hear y'all too. Yes, keep the applause going. First of all, over your CSUMB journey, you've overcome a global pandemic, snaps, virtual classes, social injustice, and chaos beyond what any generation has ever experienced. Please brush your shoulders off. That's right. You better brush your shoulders off. Don't worry, the janitor will get it later. That's right. That's right. Second of all, you're the first graduating class after the pandemic. That's right. We outside. And the first to graduate at this brand new soccer field. Thank you, Monterey Bay Football Club. We appreciate you. Raise your hand if you're happy this isn't on Zoom. That's right. Family in the back says yes, too. The man with the glasses, I see you, and the hat. Me too, because we're all Zoom fatigued. Thank you for being here to celebrate yourselves, your graduation, and your future. On your seat, you'll find an official CSUMB alumni pin. Some of you are still sitting on them. Please wear it with pride. Wear it as a symbol of your lifelong connection to CSUMB and the memories and the accomplishments you've made here. I'm so proud of y'all. I'm not crying, you're crying. You now join the ranks of over 24,000 fellow CSUMB alumni members throughout the country and the world. And as members of the Alumni Association, we want to give back to you. We will invite you to Warrior Games. We got 2 fans in here. Okay, like 10 now. Giants games. Oh, I heard some boos in there. Are there Dodger fans here? All right, let's not let them meet in the parking lot. Shark fans. Aquarium visits, winery events. Y'all really want to go to that winery, huh? And these are events for you to socialize, network, and catch up. We will plan everything. All you have to do is show up. Wave your hands in the air if you like the sound of that. That's what I'm talking about. Wherever you go, stay connected. Make sure to update your personal email with the Alumni Association. You never know when you'll run into a fellow otter. I know many of you in this room have received scholarships along your CSUMB journey. There are others who have given back to the university to ensure that current and future students receive scholarships. On behalf of the Alumni Association, we thank you for your generosity to current and future otters. If you want to give back or pay it forward, visit donate.csuMB.edu/senior-class-gift. I don't see your phones out. I'm sure many of you have heard the phrase, the friends you make will be the things you do. So let me ask you this. If your friends do nothing, then you will do? Okay, like 10 of you get degrees. The rest of you, talk to me after the commencement, we'll work something out. And if your friends go out and change the world, so will you. Well, I want you all to know that you're that friend of CSUMB that will change the world. That change has happened today in your core as you receive this degree, in your families and chosen families who supported you, with the flight that's going over our heads right now, in the communities you're replacing to do the work, leaving them better than you found them, and as part of the university vision statement. That baby, you can get a degree too. And all of this will be a part of your legacy. Cherish the friendships you made at CSUMB and with CSUMB, because together we will change the world. And we will write about it in the alumni newsletter, so stay connected. Lastly, I want you all to know you are strong in both obvious and secret ways. Raise your hand if that resonates with you. If you're strong in both obvious and secret ways. Everyone else, you should put your hands in the air, but you know what? Let's just get snaps for the people that put their hands up. Snap, snap, snaps. All right, we're almost done. You ready? 1, 2, 3. The first person who said we did it, talk to me after the commencement. All right, families, let's join it. Let's all do it together. On 3, we're going to say, we made it. 1, 2, 3. You made it, class of 2022. I look forward to seeing you at future alumni events. Did y'all see that happen? Like the ghost that possessed me? We'll do that again. I want you all to give big love to one of your audacious, outstanding student speakers that the provost will introduce after me. Remember, big love. Can we practice that big love? Okay, practice. Perfect. Enjoy the rest of the commencement, class of 2022, and thank you.
Thank you, Patterson. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker for today's event, Ethan Quaranta. Ethan is graduating summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in environmental studies with a concentration in science for sustainable communities and a minor in environmental health policy. Ethan is the recipient of the President's Award for Exemplary Student Achievement, which is given to a well-rounded student who has made notable contributions to a particular area of university life through depth of involvement and service as a student leader. The recipient is someone who has participated actively to help foster innovation and improvement with demonstrated service to the campus community. He is also the recipient of the College of Science Dean's Medalist, which is an outstanding graduate student who embodies the CSU Monterey Bay Vision Statement. Ethan has been heavily involved with student government at varying levels of governance and has served as a key voice in the CSU fossil fuel divestment movement. He also currently serves as a leader in the community as executive committee member, political committee member, and energy committee chair for the Sierra Club Ventana chapter. He is hoping to enter a career in urban planning or state legislative affairs soon. Please welcome Ethan Quaranta.
Thank you, Provost Kontarjev. Good afternoon, everyone. And so, wow, quite the crowd. This is by far the biggest crowd I've ever spoken to. Yeah. Woo. Sure, yeah, I've met the lieutenant governor, I've lobbied state legislators, talked to the chancellor before. This is a little different ball game right here. But I'll be honest, finding my voice has been a struggle. It's something I didn't fully come around till my time in college. But due to the combining of skills that I acquired from theater and journalism throughout my time in middle school and high school, along with a wonderful college with a smaller and growing atmosphere, along with supportive and approachable staff and faculty, along with, yes, an occasional administrator, I was able to blossom into the person I am today. It has taken time, though. Some of my forms of involvement have already been spoken about, but let me just review some of the other ones, too. I first got involved at CSUMB just weeks into my time here as an intern for the Associated Students Environmental Affairs Committee. I then served as Associated Student Sustainability Senator, my second year here. Then my third year, I served as Associated Students Vice President of External Affairs, as well as Vice President for Monterey County Young Democrats. Then, as mentioned by Provost Kontarjev, this year I've served as co-chair and CSUMB campus lead for Divest the CSU of Fossil Fuels, Sierra Club Ventana chapter, executive committee member, political committee member, and yes, energy committee chair. I served as elections commissioner for Associated Students, member of the advisory committee on the CSUMB presidential search, and member of the College Science Ad Hoc Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. I almost forgot that. That's a long one, Dean Lawson. That one's a mouthful. A key lesson from the dozen or so forms of involvement I've held through my time in university have all been immensely transformative for me, but I'd like to share a few key ones. One being that making a difference at society at varying levels, like I have done, and so many others in the audience, in the crowd today, in front of me have, it's good for society, but also yourself too. So get involved. If you didn't in university, make sure you do it afterwards. Also in relation to this, sorry, you hear my voice trembling, I'm starting to get emotional because I know it's on the next page. I know how hard in particular it was to be a student, let alone me being a student leader during pandemic times in particular. I do feel, though, it did help me maintain a connection to campus while conducting school via Zoom. I'm genuinely unsure if I could have made it through as well as I did without it. With involvement comes with the opportunity to network, which there's boundless benefits from that. Solid references, hearing about jobs you might have not otherwise. While I was ultimately unsuccessful, how often do you hear of a soon-to-be college graduate hearing of a job opportunity from a county supervisor and a county department director via LinkedIn? It has also doubled down my commitment to serve others. However, in this, it has also taught me something else about leadership and myself too. While it is important to care about others, one cannot bring their best supportive self as leaders if they do not take care of themselves. This was apparent early on in my involvement, but became extra clear during the height of the pandemic when we were in a virtual modality. The stories and struggles of which some are from individuals in front of me right now, they're especially tough to take in. However, if are asked to do it, let's be real, we are never asked to be pandemic crisis leaders, but hey, we did it. I gladly would do it again. So, to the class of 2022, we deserve this moment of celebration, perhaps more than any other graduating class in history to date. Many of us here were finishing up our second year of college when the pandemic hit. What a long 2-week spring break that was. We had to overcome so much more than the typical barriers to get here. Please take time today and in the weeks ahead to reflect and celebrate. Unfortunately, don't celebrate too much as we have to be moved out by noon tomorrow. Thanks, housing. Sorry, admin. You seriously thought I wasn't going to miss a chance to make one last joke about housing? Sorry. To close, I would like to express my sincere thanks to a few important individuals in my life. First, my mom. If you all want to stare at her, she's in a white hat right over there. She's standing up now. Besides the more boring thing of like financially getting me through college and whatnot, which she struggled in that regard in her college experience, you're of great support in many other ways, especially when I was home during virtual learning for the pandemic. While I might have often seemed annoyed when you popped your head in to my room to check in and provide me more water, dinner, or something, like so many other parents I think did, it truly was appreciated. I could say a lot more, and I know you know that, but I don't see any tissues here, so I'm going to keep going along. I would like to give a shout out to one of my main faculty members during my time at CSUMB. Dan, do you want to stand up? Dan, or jokingly, Dr. Fogg, thank you for the mentorship that you've given me in so many ways, inside and outside of the classroom. I remember when we met prior to my enrollment, where you showed off your 10 fog collectors behind the library. While I did not become a student of yours until my third year, and have been now for 2 years in a row, we did have plenty of time together in advocacy spaces, some of which I have been mentioned so far. Next, I would also like to give thanks to all of the professional staff in student engagement and leadership development, of which is the umbrella department for associated students. I would like to give special thanks to Joanna Owada, the AS Senior Coordinator of Governance and Operations. She's somewhere at the commencement ceremony. I've seen her a few times today already. You truly helped me grow as a leader, but more broadly as a person, in the 4 years or so we have worked together. I'm almost done. So, cheers to the class of 2022, and a big thank you to all of our supporters, of which many are in attendance. This moment of achievement and celebration is long overdue and more than deserved. I look forward to seeing what the future holds for the class of 2022 and wish you all well.
Thank you, Ethan. You know, one of the values that is on the presidential medallion for CSU Monterey Bay is environmental respect, and you certainly embody that, so thank you. I would now like to welcome to the podium to bring greetings from the Foundation Board Chair, Dr. Betty Saxon.
Good afternoon, everyone. And hello, class of 2022. And congratulations to you all. It is truly an honor for me to join you and celebrate with you on this special day. It is a great moment and one that you should cherish for a lifetime, because it's moments like these that can take you through the darkest days and propel you back onto your rightful path. I will also like to invite to remember all of the support that you've been given in order for you to arrive here today. Your family, your friends, your teachers, your mentors, and all the people that work at this great university. Yes. The organization I represent today is the foundation of Cal State University, Monterey Bay. Our mission has been to fill in the gaps for you, to help add support, to fortify your bridge to graduation. And we've done this by sharing your stories with the community. And this greater community shares their generosity and their gifts back to you in order for you to be successful. We've done this by being your advocate. So on behalf of the foundation of Cal State Monterey Bay, I'd like to congratulate you, the class of 2022. Thank you. Okay, and now it's my esteemed honor that I present to you your keynote speaker today, which is Dr. Larry Samuels. Thank you.
Hello, class of 2022. So I get asked some, I guess I should introduce myself. I'm your Vice President of Strategic Initiatives. And I get asked sometimes what a Vice President of Strategic Initiatives does. And I reply, I grow the school and other duties as assigned. So last night, I was Zooming with my little sister, who's a professor at University of Auckland in New Zealand, and my landline rang. Now, I know you don't know what's we used to plug them in the wall, okay. And I looked at it and I thought, who's going to be calling me at 10:20 at night? And, you know, why would I answer it? I glanced over and looked at the caller ID and I recognized the number. I said to my sister, it's the president, I need to ring off. Picked up the phone and found out that our president had COVID. I guess those are the other duties as assigned. So here I am. I pulled most of an all-nighter. You guys know what that's like, yes? So wrote this address, which hopefully will at least carry us over and give you a sense of my view of this university. I have a unique perspective. The streets and sidewalks of this institution, I walked as a young service person stationed at Defense Language Institute in Monterey. So I've seen what was then a different world, the world of the Cold War, and a different institution, the former Fort Ord. I saw an institution where young people were taught how to conduct war rather than learning how to be conscious citizens, taught to distrust rather than to trust, taught to obey rather than to question. You like to question? You may not realize it, but during your time at CSUMB, you've been part of a great experiment. The experiment that you've been participating in is an ongoing one, so next year, do the same thing. That experiment is the turning of swords into plowshares, the transformation of a huge military institution that was the basic training camp for the Korean conflict and the Vietnam War into a public higher education institution intended to breach the lettuce curtain and change the stars for college students, not only in the Monterey Bay region, but across California. For you, this is a bit abstract, I suppose, and dated, but for me, this is life. I've lived in this service area since I relocated to California to run Atari in the early 80s, and those of you who don't know Atari. But, so I lived here as I commuted over 17. My kids went to school in Santa Cruz County and in Monterey County. This is my home. This is the majority of my life. And CSUMB is the greatest experiment ever conducted here. An engine of hope, an engine of transformation for all who come to school here, for those who choose to teach and research here, and for a county that lost 40% of its economic vitality when Fort Ord closed. This is indeed hope transformed. Hope is the fuel of education. The hope to learn, the hope to secure the means to provide for yourself, for your family, your community, your world. At the Black Student Affinity Celebration last night, Rhonda Wise, a 60-year-old member of CSUMB's 2022 graduating class, whose birthday was yesterday, by the way, expressed hope and determination to build a stronger community here. And Gwendolyn Woods, another member of the 2022 graduating class and a mother of 5, challenged her children to follow the example of her persistence and hope in pursuing the dream of a college education. So when I look into the faces in front of me here today, I see that same hope, and perhaps a little bit of hope that this speech will be short. But 20 years ago, I made a leap of faith and hope. I was CEO of what has been called the first social network, and I decided that I didn't enjoy chasing money anymore. So I enrolled as a freshman at Cabrillo College. Those of you that have gone to Cabrillo, yay. See you out there. I did so as an adult reentry student because I dropped out of high school. And I did that with the distinct hope that I could be a player in some way in changing the face of California higher education. A hope probably tinged with a lot of arrogance to even think I could, but a sincere hope. More than a decade later, I came out of Stanford with a PhD, and I met CSUMB President Eduardo Ochoa, who convinced me that CSUMB is where I could bring my hopes and my talents. When I walked onto this campus 6 years ago, there were derelict buildings surrounding the campus, more than 1 million square feet of derelict buildings on campus, and a derelict stadium with nothing but concrete seats and a field sealed by concrete. 6 years later, most of that blight is gone, and by the end of this year, all of it will be gone. There are no derelict buildings on CSUMB's campus, and this is an amazing stadium. Our missing host, President Eduardo Ochoa, has been the catalyst for this transformation. He provided the vision and the hope for what CSUMB could be, and the transformation has been remarkable. Hope, then, and somewhere one of my mentors is yelling, yeah, and lots of hard work. But hope can transform lives, can transform communities, can transform institutions, can transform the world. And your job, members of CSUMB's graduating class of 2022, is to take your hopes and unleash them upon the world. You have survived a global pandemic, a nation state with increasing tension and polarization, a 1/2 week transition from in-person instruction to online instruction, a world of mask wearing, social distancing, breakout rooms, dining commons food. Thank you. That was gratuitous, but thanks. And the rise of TikTok. Hey. So no one can say that the students sitting here are not prepared for a changing world, because you are. And we all know that you're better prepared than us, which is good because it's going to be yours. So take those experiences, glean from the years at CSUMB, and like the school you're graduating from today, blend them with hope. You will find that experience, hope, and a little hard work will transform not only your life, but the lives of people around you. In the years to come, our hope is that you'll return to your alma mater and see that the dreams of converting swords to plowshares has continued to transform CSUMB, as well as the greater Monterey Bay region. And we further hope that you will see that those dreams formed in your years here at CSUMB have been nurtured and manifested in ways that you might not have even expected. So I'd like to pause here for a moment. President Ochoa cannot be here today, but I know that he is watching the live stream of this event. And it's hard to explain, well, I guess it's easy for you guys to mention 40 years of service to the CSUMB system, or the CSU system. This is the longest job I've ever had. His exemplary 10 years of service to CSUMB and the transformation of CSUMB around his leadership. I would ask that you all stand with me and give him a round of applause in appreciation for his lifelong service to California higher education. Thank you. And now I'd like you to know that his hope, our hope, the hope of the faculty, your family, your community, and your world is that you never stop hoping and you never stop dreaming. Thomas Edison tested over 3,000 designs for the electric light bulb before finding a solution that worked. 3,000 failures fueled by a continued belief in his own idea and talents and the hope that he would eventually succeed. Look at the campus that you came to and see how it has begun to be transformed even during your time here. A new student union, a newly renovated soccer stadium, a new building for the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, a budding partnership with Monterey with Monterey Jazz, so stay tuned, and an amazing football team that is going to transform the social experience on the Monterey Peninsula and for the entire Monterey Bay region. Yep. So my final admonition to you as you depart CSUMB is take some of your own hopes and dreams into the world, allowing what you have learned here and the unique talents that you will continue to discover that you have to advance those dreams. You are otters. The world is your oyster. So crack that shell and the world is yours. I would like now to welcome back Provost Kontarjev.
Thank you, Dr. Samuels. I'm playing two roles today, Provost, and then I'm delegated to do something very important for you later. So now I'm Provost again. It is my privilege to recognize students who have earned academic honors. The academic honor achieved by each graduate is identified in the program, and academic honors are given to seniors who have demonstrated consistent excellence in the performance of their academic work. Graduates with academic honors are distinguished by the gold cords that they wear. And based on the level of their academic achievement, these graduates are recognized as cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. And I invite these graduates wearing those gold cords to please stand so that we can recognize you. Thank you. Please be seated. You know, as an aside, I'm going to go off script. I'm a scientist by training. I'm a physical chemist. And somebody said to me earlier that this ceremony would probably be the most subdued. And I said, you wait, scientists know how to have a good time. So. Let's see, where are we? All right. At this time, I will present the candidates for degrees to myself, since I will be acting as the president later. And later in the ceremony, you will file up on stage to receive your certificates. And then we will formally confer your degrees. So I would like to ask all the candidates for Master of Arts and Master of Science degrees to please stand. On behalf of the faculty and the deans, I present these candidates as having fulfilled the requirements for the Master of Arts and Master of Science degrees, and I recommend that the appropriate degree be conferred upon each of you. Congratulations. You may be seated. And I will now present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees. Will all the candidates for Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees please stand? On behalf of the faculty and the deans, I present these candidates as having fulfilled the requirements for Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees and recommend that the appropriate degree be conferred. Congratulations to each of you. Please be seated. In addition to the undergraduate and graduate degrees that we celebrate today, we also celebrate the earning of teaching credentials. Will all the candidates for the California Teaching Credential please rise? On behalf of the faculty and the deans, I present these candidates as having fulfilled the requirements for the California Teaching Credential and recommend that the credential be conferred. Congratulations to each of you. We will now shortly be hooding our master's graduates, but before we hood them, I want to just briefly describe for the audience the history of this practice. The tradition of academic costume dates from the Middle Ages, when academic gowns were common attire in early European universities. Since the church founded universities, students were required to wear the gowns at all times. The gowns represent an adaptation of the cape or mantle worn by church dignitaries in religious processions. The usual color of academic gowns is black, but through the years, variations have developed in color and style, and you can see some of that with the platform committee. In 1896, U.S. colleges and universities adopted a uniform code governing academic dress. The style of the gown varies depending on the academic degree. The master's gowns, as you will see as our candidates cross the stage, are worn open, and the sleeves of the master's gown are square at one end with a slit at the elbow. The hoods were originally cowls attached to the gowns that could be slipped over the head for warmth. The colors used to line the hoods indicate the college or university from which the wearer received their degree. The hood's border or collar is trimmed in a color indicating the field of study. Today, our CSU Monterey Bay master's students will be receiving the following colored hoods. Master of Science master's students will be receiving golden yellow hoods, and Master of Arts will be receiving light blue. Dean Andrew Lawson, please come forward to introduce the Master of Science graduates.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to present the Master's graduates for the College of Science receiving Masters of Science degrees in Environmental Science, Instructional Science and Technology, and Marine Science. Please come forward as the staff direct you, and I'll ask the audience to hold their applause until all of the hoods have been presented so that graduates' names can be heard. Hooding our Masters of Environmental Science graduates is Dr. Jennifer Dugan, Associate Professor from the Department of Applied Environmental Sciences. Hooding our Masters of Instructional Science and Technology graduates is Dr. Miguel Lara, Associate Professor from the School of Computing and Design. And hooding our Masters of Marine Science graduates is Dr. Doug Smith, Interim Dean of Graduate Studies and Research.
Juliana Cornett.
Duncan Miller.
Kira Rambunga.
Brian Van Ornman.
Isaac Nichols.
Lissa Giacalone.
Brooke Fulkerson.
California Biordi.
Aubrey Heckel.
Michelle Terrian.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Monica Sanchez.
Georgette Cassis.
Rafia Rajid Ahmed.
Emily Cummins.
Hiba El Reyes.
Svetlana Titova.
Casey Bell.
Maricel Manlikmat.
Mark Angel.
Jenny Jo Connor.
Aaron Snyder.
James Cook.
Joshua Croft.
I now ask Dean Edward Jadala of the College of Education to join me on stage to introduce the Master of Arts and Master of Arts and Master of Science graduates.
Congratulations to all the graduates and especially to all the individuals who helped them get to this point, especially over the past 2 years. I am pleased to present the master's graduates of the College of Education receiving Master of Arts and Master of Science degrees in Education and School Psychology. Please come forward as the staff direct you. I would ask the audience to please refrain from applause until all the hoods have been presented so that all the graduates' names can be heard. Hooding our Masters of Education graduates is Dr. Josh Harrower, professor from the Education and Leadership Department, and hooding our Masters of School Psychology graduates is Dr. Stephanie DaCosta, assistant professor from the Education and Leadership Department.
Arnold Rodriguez Robles.
Quinn Houchin.
Colby Anderson.
Mia Mitchell.
Kim Peoples.
Jesus Zavala Ramirez.
Joaquin Alvarez Bautista.
Anthony Calcagno.
Zachary Wizard Taylor.
Maria Ponce.
Andrea Rodriguez.
Marietta Castro Reyes.
Alondra Catalan Gonzalez.
Liliana Perez Ordaz.
Mayra Hernandez Carmona.
Andrea Ana Hernandez.
Cecilia Moreno Mares.
Esmeralda Flores.
Rachel Cruz.
Brenda Cruz Santiago.
Veronica Gonzalez.
Rebecca Roberts.
Mamie Robinson.
Jonathan Williams.
Joey Bagania.
Alejandro Garcia.
Selena Bianca Benuelos.
Christina Mendoza.
Rosa Castillo Rocha.
Alyssa Denise Hernandez.
Anayeli Gomez Ruiz.
Jessica Guadalupe Ramirez Castillo.
Eduardo Garcia.
David Warner.
Ingrid Hartnett.
Danielle Rodriguez.
Mayra Guadalupe Rodriguez Ceballos.
Jasmine Jovel.
Dominique Oteri.
Kelsey Brown.
Caitlin Rose Olson.
Nikayla Jeanette Lagorio.
Zachary Thomas Nichols.
Akemi Yamaguchi Inoue.
Adriana Garcia Rojas.
Idaliz Vasquez.
Adriana Briceño Cruz.
Jocelyn Acosta.
Mark W. Clark.
This is Dean Lawson. Yeah. Oh, okay, here. Okay. We will now recognize graduates of the College of Education earning a California teaching credential and students earning baccalaureate degrees in Human Development and Family Sciences, Human Development and Family Studies, and Liberal Studies. All graduates of the College of Education, please come forward as the staff directs you.
Damaris Hernandez Gil.
Miriam Romero.
Felicia Diaz.
Rowena Mendoza Robante.
Abigail Daniel Lopez.
Miles Malone.
Danny House.
Roderick Jovenel Cabalza.
Carla Roque.
Susana Hernandez.
Jessica Madrigal Jacinto.
Vanessa Perez.
Maricruz Pineda Campos.
Jaina Ponky.
Priscilla Mendez.
Yvette Marie Tarango.
Rosa Maria Ceja Reges.
Taylor Volpe.
Madison Rowan.
Marissa Andrade.
Adriana Martinez.
Marissa Contrade.
Martha Velez.
Katie Zito.
Raquel Zempalteca Roman.
Jalen Agbayani.
Julia Strandy.
Daniela Mugradas.
Hilario Romero Mosqueda.
Joseph Cassius Lampkin.
Yesenia Garcia.
Yudbeth Jocelyn Cornell.
Eric Alvarez.
Maribel Romero Serrano.
Jonathan Chavez.
Sophia Edmonds.
Laura Ashley Overfelt.
Serena Wills.
Jasmine Polanco.
Alyssa Conte.
Aubrey Cosgrove.
Taylor Ibanez.
Victoria Larios.
Nicole Sarkozy.
Guadalupe Montoya.
Stephanie Castro.
Jocelyn Kaiser.
Michelle Trujillo.
Corina Liu.
Kelsey Warson.
Katie Ungafu.
Kaylee Morrison.
Kayla Seiler.
Jennifer Osuna.
Andrea Valle.
Joanna Cuevas Carrasco.
Carla Rico.
Alexandra Buenrostro.
Fatima Perez Murguia.
Danny Andrade.
Melissa Aceves Perez.
Jennifer Madrigal Rubio.
Sandra Vanessa Garcia.
Kashmir Palencia.
Dulce Cordero Diaz.
Daisy Oriana Hidalgo.
Verania Guadalupe Cornejo.
Jocelyn Maldonado Valdez.
Andrea Madrigal.
Daisy Lucio.
Caroline Lucero Martinez.
Anna Cruz.
Michelle Ayala.
Clarissa Murillo.
Callie Walker.
Brooke DiPaolo.
Yesenia Mascote.
Marina Lemus.
Cassandra Reyes Nunez.
Yadira Rendon.
Elizabeth Dolores McKenzie. Yep. Can you go first?
Melissa Machuca.
Diana Aguirre.
Sage Barker Hall.
Isabel Selena Cabrera.
Serenity Valentine Baeza.
Zoe Oliveria.
Abigail Johnson.
Haley Quintana.
Madeline Nico.
Mariana Partida Lopez.
Eileen Deloya.
Daniela Viecana.
Autumn Cabral.
Kaylee Mum.
McKenna Johnson.
Jordan Hall.
Elizabeth Smith.
Danielle Haurigi.
Josh Weaver.
Benjamin Turney Bentz.
Brianna Paz Murillo.
Julia Sanchez.
Selena Bien Leon.
Claudia Manzo.
Christina Kisby.
Jasmine Rosas.
Ashley Ramirez.
Kelsey Nelson.
Kayla Fibro.
Angelica Gutierrez.
Ramon Gonzalez.
Maria Erlinda Denise.
Brianna Lindsay.
Casey Beams.
Anna Gomez Salvatierra.
Carla Montana Agosta.
Dominique Nicole Hill.
Desiree Angelina Acosta.
Natalie Valdez.
Jacqueline Porter.
Adriana Sarah Jacobs.
Vianney Chavez.
Laura Heberly.
Chloe Dennis.
Alina Hernandez.
Nancy Fragosa.
Alondra Aranda Agoyo.
Marisol Ramos.
Aaron Palafox.
Catherine Marquez.
Antonia Martinez.
Ishmael Loza.
Destiny Garcia.
Lizzie Hahn.
Camille Mendoza.
Daniela Guadalupe Cortez Gomez.
Guadalupe Chavez.
Dana Vanessa Gonzalez.
And Alberto Melgoza Vasquez.
Morelli Villalobos Flores.
Carolina Cordova.
Joanna Marie Aguisanda Vaughn.
Veronica Trinidad.
Kelsey Acosta.
Maria Meza.
Mallory Garcia.
Jennifer Ventura.
Rocio Carranza Pineda.
Molly McShane.
Kayla Dizon.
Alexa Nicole Hansen.
Andrea Duran.
Jocelyn Del Real.
Giselle Saavedra.
Jasmine Chaidez Rocha.
Desiree Contreras.
Hannah Pesina.
Guadalupe Zamora.
Daisy Neri Morales.
Please welcome back Dean Andrew Lawson.
Thank you, Dean Jadala. All right, College of Science, are we ready? I am, all right. Pleased to present the undergraduates in the College of Science earning baccalaureate degrees in our first graduating class of Agricultural Plant and Soil Sciences. In biology, computer science, environmental science, technology, and policy, environmental studies, marine science, mathematics, and statistics. Please come forward as the staff direct you.
Maria Rocha Castillo.
Patrick Allen.
Richard Gabriel Mercado.
Samuel Porello.
Lainey Clunas.
Annabella Aguirre.
Brian Tran.
Francis Nguyen.
Liam Patrick.
Kristen Harvey.
Guadalupe Rios.
Carol Chin.
Jacob Toth.
Don Wynn.
Cindy Matuch.
Jamie Byrne.
Sarah Kilbane.
Elizabeth Delgado Contreras.
Lisa Castillo.
Rin Chinyoso.
Samuel Sherrill.
Forrest Kennard.
Katie Staple.
Haley Booth.
Alicia Del Toro.
Emily Haydes.
Kirby Zoll.
Kevin Enriquez.
Haley Kelstrom.
Diana Valenzuela Rubio.
Robin Porter.
Jennifer Mijangos.
Dustin Johnson.
Maite Gato Fuentes.
Madeline Camargo.
Amalia Siegel.
Cassie Gasper.
Caitlin Rooney.
Melissa Vizard.
Haley Herrera.
Jennifer Grossman.
Andrina Martinez.
Alyssa Connor.
Sabrina Parsinia.
Eric Holst.
Sarah Ann Marie Clore.
Alana Sidio.
Molly Morrison.
Helene Doing.
Sandra Galvez.
Haley Piilani Kinimaka.
McKenna Barber.
Brenda Noemi Barrera Escamilla.
Lisbeth Gamboya Amadov.
Daniel Pastor Lopez.
Avianca Duenas.
Viviana Vigil.
Star Ritchie.
Neil O'Brien.
Ethan Switzer.
Christopher Shanoy.
Jordan Velasco.
Maggie Sida.
Denise Druckenberg.
Jace Innes.
Jared Martin.
Jacob Ahee.
Hadley Gross.
Trinity Sieber.
Peter Palmer.
Sabrina Bentu.
Caitlin Lauren Navarrete.
Andrea Syhoski.
Catherine Day.
Gretchen Witchman.
Bonnie Dawson.
Summer Aline Naeem.
Ariana Chavez.
Skylar Wolf.
Jasmine Costanzo.
Kyle Zettner.
Joshua Yule.
Timothy Patrick Randazzo.
Benjamin Versteg.
Katie Melchor.
Artemis Rose Sophocleus.
Lauren Marshall.
Alyssa Scher.
Bibiana Carrasco.
Brian Eichel.
Caitlin Funch.
Ryan Wills.
Jesse Rodriguez.
Zoe Submergen.
Wendy Fang.
Tyler Winters.
Jennifer Villegas Moreno.
Atziri Carranza.
Camden J. Levitt.
Jacob Hilliker.
Harrison Rushworth.
Edian Benuelos.
Paula Maldonado.
Mariah Windman.
Kayla Fawn.
Gabriel Uriah Quintana.
Karen Itakura.
Aaron Ale.
Marshall Compton.
Gregory Burdine.
Mayra Cuervas Cardenas.
Charlotte Obazinski.
Karina Reed.
Ethan Quaranta.
Griffin Hunt.
Ariana Elizabeth Laura Chavez.
Elise Valdivia.
Emily O'Brien.
Maya Coda.
Karina Lauren Guzman.
Emily Rial.
Maximilian Roscoe Graves.
Rachel Emily Torres.
Candy Whitehead.
Joshua Wozinski.
Kevin Edmondson.
Alisa Lopez.
Athena Hochevar.
Holly James.
Catalina Pantoja Luna.
Asael Masun.
Kaylee Esperanza Hubner.
Red Glines.
Gabriela Marie Uloa.
Valentin Contreras Jr.
Daniel Espinoza Castro.
Julissa Hernandez.
David Pribble.
Alyssa Esteban.
Natalie Ward.
Paulina Cadena.
Andrea Jasmine Rios.
Alyssa Marie Anderson.
William Holden Wood.
Ben Easter.
Jesse King.
Grant Ellers.
Yorel Valdez.
Nina Hernandez.
Jacob Goler.
Raul Padilla.
Frankie Leyva.
Altea Bigay.
Alexandria Shannon Macias.
Jade Betancourt.
Alexa Guadalupe Rivera.
Emily Urrutia.
Ziana Centeno.
Angel Manuel Ruiz.
Griffin Baskovich.
Arenzana. Brian Delon Arenzana Gopez.
Lindsay Newey.
Maricela Bermudez.
Miriam Moreno.
Cristina Yvonne Sepulveda Bernal.
Emilia DeLuca.
Lyric Batistiana.
Paige Brigham.
Javier Lopez Hernandez.
Brittany De Jesus Saldon Contreras.
Jason Brandon Zamora.
Jada Escobedo.
Lauren Elizabeth Davis.
Joseph Anthony Chargan V.
Melissa King.
Monica Estrada Farias.
Monica Tadros.
Jessica Guzman.
Lisbeth Navarro Aceves.
Veronica Gutierrez Delgado.
Andrea Villegas.
Joycelyn Vasquez.
Rosalie Utreres.
Sienna Carrillo.
Veronica Moran.
Sylvia Vasquez.
Sydney Rose Howard.
Myra Harret.
Elisa Diaz.
Morgan Raimondo.
Angela Mesa.
Trinita Barrios.
Stephanie Ruelos.
Alicia Ramirez.
Zoe Madsen.
Nicholas Ariano.
Mackenzie Alexis Brown.
Giselle Galvan.
Perla Evangelina Mercado Diaz.
Giselle Del Valle Cheverin.
Sebastian Barajas.
Tanya Torres.
Giselle Senya Perez.
Ashley Ann Springfield.
Yume Kamal.
Destiny Berry.
Lauren Dixon.
Angelica Prado.
Samantha Munoz Gomez.
Samantha Orozco Sanchez.
Rimki Barua.
Adrienne Valencia.
Jaslyn Elise Macklin.
Amber Alford.
Stephanie Cervantes.
Vanika Fan.
Jasmine Fryho.
Christine Baal.
Ariana Nava.
Samuel Menges.
Sage Chavez.
Nathan Walton.
Kimberly Vu.
Demauza Malcarath.
Destiny Dorico.
Avalon Surratt.
Epifanio Estrado.
Ryan Pham.
Brandon Tom.
Shaylin Latronica.
Jade Levitt.
Michaela Dominguez.
Brandon Klukas.
Vicky Mraz.
Kaiku Kaholo A'a.
Victoria Valles.
Carlos Javier Rosas.
Alyssa Ruiz.
Isaiah Woodard.
Annabelle McCarthy.
Sarah Wood.
Alexis Hand.
Brooke Tafoya.
Santana Merrifield.
Ramon Jesus Guerrero Fragoso.
Karen Sanchez.
Brooke Havens.
Ilyas Mohammed.
Tavia Eckhart.
Shanika Fernando.
Carlos Salazar.
Kevin Martelli.
Mackenzie Weber.
Megan Mosek.
Victoria White.
Vanessa Garcia.
Kristen Marie Dick.
Priscilla Torres.
Maricia Alcaraz.
Lee Adams.
Angelica Newen.
Sebastian Tamiano.
Matthew Escobar.
Shay Ong.
Kayla Lee.
Validia Ramirez.
Ashlyn Einhell.
Kiara Carrion.
Joanna Heredia.
Brooklyn J. Pope.
Michael Dania Iwata.
Tyler Wilson.
Dominic Cosson.
Christopher Mendoza.
Michael Burns.
Sean Brown.
Joshua L. Rodriguez.
Marco Pena.
Juan Carlos del Carmen.
Brianna Sanchez Ortega.
Jonathan Gracida.
Christian Leathers.
Anna Stubler.
Amy Castellon Bustamante.
Susie Ford.
Korea Hunter.
Nicholas Aquinoshita.
Luis Javier Rivera.
Henry Chan.
James DeSelms.
Bryce Randolph.
Nayeli Martinez de Jesus.
Guru Prem Rajpal.
Justdeep Delon.
Sophia Lopez.
Trinidad Ramirez. Miguel Nunez.
Ayman Alti Altayeb.
Daisy Mayorga Fuentes.
Melissa Graham.
Raul Sanchez.
Oliver Angel Ramirez Stringer.
Rowena Torrado.
Crystal Victoria O'Connell.
Kathy Shu.
Jessica Torres Hernandez.
Kevin Guzman.
Matthew Reyes.
Andrew Kuhn.
Turipame Beshiha.
Christian Samaras.
Michael Gabriel.
Sean Wilson.
Kyle Jackson.
Steven Schreiber.
Michael Velasquez.
Ruben Esqueda.
Ivan Mendoza.
Prince Rios.
Andre Labrador.
Eric Chavez Velez.
Alex Espinoza Fuentes.
Edward Cluster.
Brianna Holloman.
Timothy Rogers.
Jim Cabrera.
Nicholas Anthony Anderson.
Garrett Sloan.
Caitlin Lowe.
Michael Alfredo Haydar.
Daniel Jacoby.
James Campbell.
Hamza Salim.
Bauer Hotak.
Ibrahim Jabarkel.
Timothy Hanneman.
Karandeep Singh.
Derek Lilienthal.
Boris Myron.
Keone McNair.
Brendan Magana.
Daniel Rangel Figueroa.
Josue Gonzalez.
Andrew Klein.
Samuel Busane.
Sagar Prasad.
Juan Manuel Ramirez Jr.
Adrian Ortiz.
Brian Hernandez.
Oscar Ruiz.
Rodrigo Javier Andrade Villafana.
Hernan Hernandez.
Michaela K. Rodriguez.
Nicolas Lara Fonseca.
Justin Thomas.
Jason Baker.
Wayne Hayden.
Daniel Belanci.
Swarangi Salvi.
Daisy Rocha Montañez.
Daniel Reyes.
Tanisha Mahajan.
Sahil Sinha.
Jomar Baluyat.
Catherine Gross.
Samantha Stolte.
Dean Altawill.
Diego Llamas.
Daniel Cooper.
Ian Rowe.
Jordan Guzman.
Ashley Teraishi.
Trenton Fingal.
Fernando Arosqueta.
Nicholas Stankovich.
Larry Chim.
Javier Gonzalez.
Bablu Banik.
Alonzo Masharaju.
Jose Guadalupe Caudio Jr.
Sean De La Cerda.
Daniel Philip Howe.
Barbara Kondo.
Emma Larson.
Jeremy Miharg.
Andrew May.
Julio Lopez.
Ashley Garcia Arellano.
Ryan Proctor.
Angelo Adiri-Veer.
Timothy Johnson.
Sin K. Ung.
Ryan Lee Trin.
Charlie Dalton.
Jamie Manulit.
Roshan Indika Menik Arachige.
Oyinye Aladinye.
Arthur Timpey.
Connor Turetsky.
Neil McMahon.
Jonathan Ordiano.
Mariana Duarte.
Eric Gallardo.
Irfan Arsala.
Guillermo Flores V.
Daniel Waddell.
Noah Ahmed.
Angel Gutierrez.
Robert Huskins.
Jamil Kapatayan.
Roy James Morla.
Clyde Sumagang.
David Gaeta Herreta.
Kobe Davis.
Nancy Marino Lopez.
Nicholas Saba.
Christina Mabry.
Eloisa Arroyo.
Matthias Lima.
Marcus Chavez.
Maria Lefteriotis.
Miguel Estrada.
Craig Valdries.
Brittany Ortiz.
Litzy Rodriguez.
Christian Morris.
Abigail Williams.
Sheenil Kumar.
Sophia Torres.
Matthew Dunham.
Deanna Walter.
Xiaoming Mo. Sergio Marguel Martinez.
So, one apology from me. I did not introduce the graduates of communication design. Communication design.
Candidates, now that we have presented you, we will formally confer your degrees. Will all candidates for the master and baccalaureate degrees please rise? Will the candidates for teaching credentials please rise? Will the faculty please rise and face the graduates? Candidates, now that we have presented you, as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and on behalf of the faculty of California State University, Monterey Bay, I formally present you and recognize and recommend the designated degree that be conferred upon you, and by the authority vested in me by the State of California, the Board of Trustees of the California State University, and the President of California State University, Monterey Bay, I now confer upon each of you the baccalaureate degree that you've earned with all the attendant rights, privileges, and responsibilities. You may now move your tassel to the left side of your cap. This signifies completion of your undergraduate degree. Congratulations to all our graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the 26th graduating class of Cal State University at Monterey Bay. I extend my sincere thanks to all of you for being here with us today. And as we conduct the recessional, I would like to ask that the audience remain seated until the platform party, faculty, and all graduates have exited. You may then proceed to the exit as the staff direct you, and please wait for that direction. Family and friends, you can meet your graduate on the outside of the stadium. Thank you all for your participation in this year's commencement exercise. I declare this commencement ceremony officially concluded. Thank you.